Unnerfed Zodiac. It is the first version of the Zodiac we all know today. Although it is the first version, it was heavily imbalanced. Some parts were free, while other parts were really hard. Therefore, Zodiac got nerfed to the state that it rests in today. As the Unnerfed grew older and older, the level was lost from many minds. Today's Zodiac overshadows a version of what it used to be. No one dared to play the Unnerfed version because of one part: TMN. TMN is the part everyone knew and everyone feared. It had tight wave gaps, annoying transitions, and so much more. Despite this, one player decided to take on the challenge. This player decided to be the one to persevere. After all, this person beat Zodiac twice, so how hard can this really be? Nebnoob is a player from Nebraska, and he recently came off from re-beating Zodiac for a second time. Why did he re-beat it, I hear you ponder? It is because the first time he beat it, he unfortunately forgot to record it. Couldn't be me. Anyway, the story begins around the middle of June 2023, on a vacation. Neb made a buffed copy of TMN from the rated version to send to a level request streamer, in which he removed the gravity portal in the 57% wave. This reminded him of Unnerfed Zodiac. Even though the level that he made was for the funny, the concept of Unnerfed Zodiac was intriguing him, and so he thought he could try out how Unnerfed Zodiac could be once he got back home. Once he got back from vacation, he tried Unnerfed Zodiac. However, Neb decided to skip a practice mode attempt on it, and instead just went straight into practicing TMN. Getting TMN done was no easy feat, and doing so would take quite some effort, but he pushed through and decided to get from that part to the end of the level, 56 to 100. While he grinded that run, he found a few more choke points throughout the second half, including 71 and 84. After what felt like a long time, he finally ended up getting 56 to 100, which was TMN to 100. 56 to 100 in itself is really impressive. Not many people would be able to do that run, let alone beat it. He thought he had done most of the difficulty of the entire level. After he got that run, he then went on to practice the first half of the level, and he expected to get the first half done quickly, as no one said anything about it. He even thought he could be Unnerfed Zodiac in a couple months from then. But to Neb's surprise, it was not at all the case. He thought the first half would be pretty easy, but unbeknownst to him, the first half of the level would be more challenging than he would ever have thought of. It was then that he realized the long and grueling task he had put himself in. Chokepoints, a part considered by many to be the hardest part of the rated Zodiac, and along with the unnerfed TMN, it was one of the hardest parts that Neb has ever done in their unnerfed state. Neb realized that Unnerfed Zodiac turned out to have so many choke points that no one knew existed. Nebnoob decided to stick with being the first person to beat Unnerfed Zodiac, but if he would proceed with this journey, he would have to be cautious. Neb's main concern was Zoink, the #1 player in the game. Neb was afraid that Zoink was gonna find out about his progress on Unnerfed Zodiac and potentially rob the verification title from him, and so he kept his progress a secret from everyone, except for his friend group.
I expected a lot more accusations than I got, because I did it completely in secret with no progress videos.
Neb would now officially start the challenge that was to come. He would try out the pre-drop, getting most of it done in one day. He also got some runs from between Shock and TMN. By the time that Neb spent 20,000 attempts on TMN, he hadn't even spent 1,000 attempts from Chokepoints due to him dreading to start that part.
I never really liked the level. It was funny at times, just because like nobody else ever wanted to touch the level, and I was the only one playing it. But it's the most boring thing to touch from zero.
While doing Chokepoints on its own might take a bit, getting any significant runs proved to be immensely difficult. He also had plenty of other worries. What would happen once you got the TMN? What if he died to the last part? What are nerves gonna be like? Will he be able to control himself? Those questions would be answered later in his expedition. Nebnoob made some good progress on the level through the end of that same summer. 49 to 82, 52 to 100, and eventually got 49 to 100, which culminated over half the level. He was making significant progress, and he was doing it fast. Most shockingly of all, he managed to pass Shockcidian's part, and eventually got this record. 51%. He had officially got the level in 2 runs, each run having passed one of the hardest parts. This was very motivating, to say the very least. During his time playing from 38, or Shock's part, he got past TMN, getting 38 to 71, another big run, and so he was making good progress. Although getting progress was inconsistent and would take weeks to make good runs. Since it was not too far into his journey, Neb decided to make up something to help him, and this would be the most revolutionary strategy he had come up with. On September 14th of 2023, nebnoob made the Unnerfed Zodiac private Discord server, in which he invited his friends to see everything he was doing. The primary reason for this was that Neb wanted to try making a schedule while he played the level, known as the schedule strategy. The first prototype of the schedule was as follows. On Monday, he would put all of the parts on a wheel and play whatever part that got rolled. On Tuesday, he played from TMN for about an hour and a half. Similarly, he played Tactics part on Wednesday and Shockcidian's part on Thursday. On Friday, he would get about 4 or 5 connected runs, and on the weekend, play from 0. The weekends were a big deal, where Neb could get anywhere at any time. The plan was, by following the schedule, it would allow him to get a lot more consistent over a consistent period of time.
I tried not to miss any days. For the most part, I would just try and make it up by not missing any, like, in the coming weeks. Towards the end of when I was playing it, I literally played it like every day for possibly 3 to 4 hours. It was just forcing myself to play it because I knew that if I didn't play it, it wouldn't end, and then I would always have it on the back of my mind. So I would say the hardest time I had picking up the level was when I wanted to play Lethal Company with my friends, and then I just couldn't because I had to play Unnerfed Zodiac.
Although he had made the schedule, he would not get many more significant runs. 51 was his record for a long time, and 5900 was still his best run. So did the schedule strategy fail Neb? Did he have a mind block somewhere along the way? Everything was at a stalemate. That was, until December 28th, 2023, when Neb did something that would mark a turning point in his journey.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I got shocked to 100! Oh, that is, what? That is the hardest thing I will ever do in this game until I beat this.
After 6 months of playing Unnerfed Zodiac, nebnoob did the hardest thing he had ever put himself through, 38 to 100. This culminated the hardest parts of the level, which include Shockcidian and TMN. He was astonished, no words, and this is when he realized he was capable of doing the unthinkable. Not long after getting his best run yet, on January 5th of the new year, and after 6 months, he had finally passed 51% and got this run.
Oh my god! Yes, dude! Yes, dude! I got the TMN! I got the TMN! I got the TMN! I got the TMN! World record too! World record was 56! I got the TMN! Dude, what?
57%. This run was now the world record on Unnerfed Zodiac, and no one even knew. Although, according to Neb, he did die to the biggest choke points in the level. Nonetheless, this was the attempt that made it the TMN. Neb had passed many other parts that he was originally stuck on for months on end. Even though getting the TMN was an accomplishment in itself, Neb was still months away from a completion, but seemingly, progress started to come flowing in. A week later, he got another new best, that being 59%, passing the big choke point of 57.
Oh my god, I'm so nervous! I am so nervous! I am so nervous! I got 59! I knew I was dead, but my hand could not click.
Another week later, he got another new best, this time getting 60%.
I got 60! Thank you! I got to the UFO, I died to the hard click,
In the span of a month, Neb had gotten some of the best runs he had ever got, and was starting to get very consistent with them. Then one day, out of the blue, on February 12th, 2024, this happened.
Oh my god! Oh my god, I passed TMN! Oh, dude! I got 66! I got...
This was one of the biggest accomplishments Neb had ever done. He passed Unnerfed TMN from 0. This run contains the most chokeable parts of the entire level, which meant he got past the majority of the difficulty of the whole level. But the taunting choke points of 71% and 84% still loomed ahead. Now it is at this point of the video where I show you most of the choke points that Neb had come across. Due to most people only knowing about Unnerfed TMN to be the chokeable part, no one thought that any other part was buffed, let alone chokeable. For the people watching this part of the video, can you list off all of the choke points in the level?
9% is the first thing that's stupid. Yeah, it's transition based. It gets kind of consistent. It's way more consistent than the other things in Anikana. Specifically, 10%, I despise it. Not only is it really tight, but it's also, I'm not very good at micro clicks, so. Next up is one singular ball timing at 11%. Again, not a choke point, but it's really bad. You'll die to it multiple times. The transition out of Bionox. If you exit out of the wave transition incorrectly, you'll just die in the dual transition. It wasn't play tested, I guess, but there's really nothing that hard until Shock. Once you get to Shock, the ship is a lot less consistent because of the spike placement and the green orb. People don't notice this, but that cube click after the ship is so much harder. So stupid, and it's super annoying to die to. That's right before the actual hard clicks, which is the 42 ball clicks, specifically the first two. Tactic is like the next somewhat tricky thing. The ship at Tactic is much harder. I think it got consistent. A lot of people say it's impossible though, so I'm just gonna mention it. And then TMN, first of all, you have the 57 wave release. So not only is it not auto, but the structures actually move like over, so it's even tighter than the autoed version in normal Zodiac. Next up, everyone thinks 58 would be hard because it's like a really bad transition, but 58 ship is not hard. The reason 58 matters though is because the transition out of the 58 ship into 59 makes 59 completely blind, and 59s are buffed anyways. The transition into the 60 UFO. So in normal Zodiac, there's this slope that pushes your UFO downwards towards the smaller spike. In Unnerfed Zodiac, that's not there, so you have to do the jump with your UFO running into the big spike, which makes it the most impossible timing. The second click is also transition based, with it being much harder from some transitions and much easier from others. 66% doesn't look harder, but it is. I don't really know why. It's just a lot harder. 71%, it's one of those clicks that is the exact same gap, but it's harder because of lack of playtesting. The black orb is so high up, you can't actually click it late, and you have to click the black orb as late as you can. It's also like one of the hardest clicks in the level by frames, so. Peneto as a whole is literally not even really a hard part anymore. It's still very chokeable, but that's about the extent of it. Slim Jim is literally harder because 84% is harder, and 84 is just a much bigger choke point than anything in Peneto. The ending of Slim Jim is actually nerfed. If you look at the straight fly, it's much more wide open. After that, it's not hard at all. Don't choke for the rest of the level. After you pass 84, you should beat it.
Since Neb had gotten decently lucky throughout the last few weeks, no significant progress was made. Although there were no new bests, Neb built off the progress he had already gotten. He was able to get 3800 again earlier in January, which, remember that 3800 is one of the hardest runs to get. Throughout the later winter months, Neb would get 3800 a few more times. This consistency building would be very useful for his progress from 0. With that said, Neb had gotten to TMN on many more occasions, getting there a total of 40 times within the first 5 months of the year. Along with that, Neb had gotten 3800 many more times later on, and into May of 2024. With each shock to 100, did your nerves get any better?
I didn't really get that nervous on my last shock 200, but I always got some nerves at the end because it would have been a cool run to have.
With all this crazy progress, something was bound to happen. And that something happened. No one was expecting the outcome of what is next. It was on May 19th, 2024, when it all came down.
I
It happened. He did the impossible. Unnerfed Zodiac was finally verified after many, many years of it being made. No one was expecting this so soon, especially since it was a fluke from 66%. Neb was in disbelief, and so he let out one of the rawest reactions in Geometry Dash history. There are no more worries. After 179,274 attempts and about 1 year of constant grinding, one of the most historical levels had been verified. This video took me a lot longer to release than I initially thought. Neb beat Unnerfed Zodiac like around May of 2024. As of recording it, it's August 2025. It's over a year. But here it is. The history of the verification of Unnerfed Zodiac. Seeing nebnoob play Unnerfed Zodiac his whole journey along with many other friends was really a unique experience, pardon my lack of vocabulary. I am very happy for him, and I'm glad to have supported him throughout this entire process, and I'm sure our friends feel the same way. Unnerfed Zodiac aside, if you enjoyed the video, I plan on making more videos like this. Not commonly, but I do want to get videos like these out. I've always had a passion for Geometry Dash's history, so making videos about it is a great way to research stuff about it myself, and to share the stories I find with you guys. I got nothing else for me to say. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content just like this one, hit the subscribe button with the bells enabled so you get all notifications. Other than that, have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.